claim that this goals has finally been achieved, but it has. In fact, the finding understanding of our psychologically troubled human condition has actually been what the efforts of every human who has ever lived has been dedicated to achieving and has been contributing to finding. As Professor Prosen said, finding understanding of the human condition has been the holy grail of the whole human journey of conscious thought and inquiry. We humans have absolutely lived in hope, faith and trust that one day, somewhere, someplace, all the efforts of everyone, but in particular scientists, would finally produce the completely redeeming, uplifting and healing understanding of us humans. I know it must seem outrageous to claim that this goals has finally been achieved, but it has. In fact, the human condition is such a difficult subject for us humans to confront and deal with that I couldn't be talking about it so openly and freely if it hadn't been solved.
Okay then, Jeremy, solve the human condition itself.
Oh yes. Firstly, I'm a biologist, and that's important because I think everyone will agree that what we need is a non-abstract, non-mystical, completely rational and understandable scientific, biological explanation of us humans.
As I'd like to explain.
So how are we to explain
this? Understand the human condition, understand why we humans are the way we are. So brutally, competitive, selfish and aggressive. Still like so we make so much sense of our device behaviour. The underlying cause of it is so completely explained and understood. That's Professor Prosen said. The whole of the human race is psychologically rehabilitated and everyone's life is transformed. Yes, that's what we want.
Competitive aggressive behaviour comes from savage and healing instincts in us is certainly not true. So I'd like to come back to shortly. Just everyone these things is sitting with the leaders of what we're all taught in school and this whole rehabilitation of their present humans. Competitive, selfish and aggressive behaviour is due to us having savage, must reproduce our genes instincts like other animals. And certainly, while we think it's true play, we have some selfless cooperative, they also say we have this suspicion of compatible side, which Karl Marx limited to such basic needs as sex, food, shelter and clothing. I mean, our conversations are saturated with this belief, with comments like, we're programmed by our genes to try to dominate others, and we're winner in a battle of life.
And it's preoccupation with sexual conquest is due to a primal instincts to know our seeds, and men behave abominably because their bodies are flooded with must reproduce their genes promoting testosterone, and we want a big house because we are innately territorial with fighting bullets, just combating animal nature, expressing itself.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly. I mean, that really is what I've understood is the reason for our competitive and aggressive nature. That we have brutally competitive survival of the fittest instincts, which we are always extreme.
Understanding we can finally end this like trouble here. That's what we would call understanding of ourselves. We need
what I'm going to say now is very important, so I hope everyone's listening closely. Surely, this idea that we have savage, competitive and aggressive must reproduce our genes instincts cannot be the real reason our species competitive and aggressive behaviour. Because, after all, words used to describe our human behaviour, such as egocentric, arrogant, inspired, depressed, deluded, pessimistic, optimistic, artificial, hateful, cynical, sadistic, small, brilliant,
solving explanation is actually very obvious.
All recognise the role of our species, what is fully conscious mind. We demonstrate the psychological dimensions of our understanding that we don't suffer from a genetic opportunism-driven animal condition, but a conscious mind-based, psychologically troubled human condition. And what's more, we humans are operating based on understanding those things. Voices, not understanding expressions that always control and dictate how the natural behaves.
Moral sense is the best, highest distinction between man and the lower animals. And of course, to have acquired these cooperative, selfless and loving moral instincts, our distant ape ancestors must have lived cooperatively, selflessly like that. So we've acquired that. Our ape ancestors let's imagine a stork, rather. They must have lived in a garden in an Eden-like state of cooperative, selfless and loving and gentleness, which I'd like to explain to you.
No consciousness. There is a state of the bonobo species, in which anthropological findings now evidence but interesting. For instance, anthropologists like Owen Lovejoy are reporting that our species defining cooperative networks can now be seen to extend well beyond the seepage bias. It's not really like the other storks, but it's only The competitive, aggressive behaviour comes from He then makes the conscious decision to divert is simply not true. As I'd like to come back to shortly. It's just a convenient excuse that can be abused while we waited for the psychosis to
Adam's instincts real. Straight up.
Alright, so that's a big statement here. I mean, I put it in comments on your movie. You're saying that our competitive and aggressive behaviour are not due to the misuse of instincts like the other one, but is due to a conscious mind-based, psychologically troubled condition, yes?
Arrogant and mean and vindictive. The sadistic behaviour has nothing to do with and it's actually really good news that our behaviour is due to a conscious mind based psychologically because psychosis can understand this point. His conscious mind, if our competitive aggressive behaviour was due as having savage instincts, then we'd be stuck with them or with hardwired innate behaviour. It means you can only ever hope to restrain and control those instinctive orientations to but since our basis conscious mind is due to psychosis, that device's behaviour can be cured with healing understanding. So that is very good news. In fact, incredibly exciting news because in fact, his understanding of what the problem actually is, he simply started to feel that it's bad.
The understanding of ourselves that we needed to heal the pain in our brains and become sound and sane again. As I said,
Bad, or that he is bad in some way.
it's just a convenient excuse.
What happens then?
Psychosis addressing itself.
Well,
Real
tragically,
explanation.
I'll search for
Which
understanding.
is the explanation I now like to present.
Okay, so what you're saying here, Jeremy, is that we don't need the convenient excuse anymore that we have some kind of savage animal instincts because we have the real explanation of our conscious mind-based, psychologically troubled human condition.
Yes, this key, all-important, psychosis addressing and solving explanation is actually very obvious.
If we think about it, if an animal was to become fully conscious, human condition is actually being, and that animal
every human
has
ever
understanding
has
of
been
its
dedicated
conscious
to
mind,
duty
surely
and has been
challenge the pre-existing instinctive orientation to the world. I mean, about we have to break out between the emergent conscious mind that operates from a basic understanding of consciousness and the non-understanding instincts that have always controlled and dictated how that animal behaves.
That makes sense, yeah. What happens when these animals became conscious and it's all like turned into a psychologically distressed mess?
Well, the easiest way
completely
to
redeeming,
imagine
uplifting, and healing understanding of us humans. Right, because if we do that, we'll very quickly see how that animal will develop a psychologically troubled competitive condition like
in fact, human condition is such a difficult subject for us humans to confront. I couldn't be talking about it, so I couldn't get
Each summer, Adam instinctively migrates north with the other storks around the coast of Africa and Europe to breed, as some varieties of storks do. Now, since he has no conscious mind, Adam Stork doesn't think about or question his behaviour. He just follows what his instincts tell him to do.
But what if we give Adam a large brain capable of conscious thought? He must think
Understand why we humans are the way we are.
not
Brutally competitive, selfish, and aggressive.
Well, migrating north from the other storks, Adam notices that
Makes so much.
he then makes a conscious decision to divert from his migratory flight path and explore the island. First,
Psychologically reinvented. When Adam's instincts realise he is straight off course, they're going to criticise his deprogrammed behaviour and dogmatically try to pull him back up to his instinctive flight path.
But now everyone can see what we were all taught in school and told in every documentary.
Total animal experience. You can't go back to simple
Selfish behaviour is due to simply savage.
migratory flight paths. Required over thousands of generations of natural selection, but those orientations are not understandings. And since his conscious mind requires understanding, which can only get
War will break out with his instincts. Ideally, at this point, Adam's conscious mind would sit down and explain to his instincts why he's
preoccupation
gene-based natural selection process
due to our primal
only gives
tendencies
species
to seas and men
limitations
behave abundantly because
with his nerve
their bodies
base.
are flooded, must reproduce their genes for both testosterone and have a big house.
Adam doesn't have this self-understanding. He's only just begun his search for knowledge. In fact, he's not even aware what the problem actually is. He simply started to feel that he's bad, even evil.
Okay, so what you're saying is a war has broken out between his conscious mind and his instincts, which he can't explain, and it's left him feeling bad, or that he is bad in some way, or even evil. So what happens then?
Well, tragically,